Good morning again, Steve here, and I'm going to talk today a little bit about a guy I talked about a few other times on videos, and his name is Gary Halbert. He was at one time, long time ago, known as the Prince of Print, and he was a practical psychologist, you could say also, in that he could figure out what it is that people wanted really, really deep down, and they called him the Prince of Print because when he wrote an advertising campaign, it was very often a winning advertising campaign. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about that today, as in terms of how it could help us in our whatever it is that we want to do in life. Now, the example I'm going to use, it goes back over 30 years ago, where he was contracted by this lady, Tova Borgnine. You will recognize the name Borgnine. I believe it was Ernest Borgnine. He was a very famous Hollywood actor, and that was, well, his latest wife. I think he had about 5 wives in the course of time. But anyways, she at the time had this perfume line, or ladies products line, and she wasn't getting the success that she wanted, I suppose. And so she heard about the Prince of Print and contracted him to say, "Hey, can you sell my stuff for me?" Right? So he wrote out, at the time, everything was pretty much newspapers, magazines, or whatever, and I believe it was probably the LA Times and a few others perhaps, where he took out, a large ad, and he used to write in the form of an article, where he'd have a headline and then some text, and then a way that you could take action on the bottom, right? And the ad, or the headline, went basically like this: Tova Borgnine swears under oath that her new perfume does not contain any legal sexual stimulant. Now just take that in for a minute. That's pretty funny in a way, right? It also had a subhead, which went like this: Wife of famous movie star agrees to give away 10,000 samples of her new fragrance just to prove it's safe to wear in public. Now, take that in for a minute. And let's examine this in terms of another one of an acronym that it's an advertising acronym, I guess, that Gary Halbert used a lot and he referred to a lot. And it's ADA, but you can see what each word means in terms of, and let's go through this in terms of looking back at this ad campaign, right? So whatever it is that we're going to do in life, right? We're in the dating scene, we're in business, we're looking for a job or whatever. If nobody knows about us, no matter how good we are at whatever we do, it doesn't go anywhere. So we have to get attention initially. What does Gary do to get this attention in terms of his wording? Well, he understands base human wants, or what they really want on a base level. And we'll talk a little bit about this too, but so he talks about sexual stimulant. I mean, you can't get much more base than that, can you? And he also uses the word in there, illegal, which of course, this evokes all kinds of kinky kind of thing in the minds of people, right? But also, he said it doesn't contain illegal sexual stimulant, but the way human mind works is, oh, maybe it contains a legal one, you know? So right away, that's an attention grabber. An attention grabber could be, we've all gone to rock concerts and stuff, and there's an explosion on the stage, whatever. These are all things to get our attention, but if there's no substance behind it, then we wander off. Our attention doesn't stay there. We've got our attention, but you don't hold our interest, which is the next point here. Interest. Because interest has to do with gaining that curiosity. We're looking into it more. So he's got people's attention on the first the first headline. But there's a subhead in there to capture that interest, right? He talks about how, okay, wife of famous movie star agrees to give away 10,000 samples of her fragrance to prove that it's safe to wear in public. Okay, here's a free thing. So you not only get your attention, there's interest. Hey, maybe there's something in this for me. I get a freebie if I show up, right? And, of course, safe to wear in public. Okay, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Because is it safe to wear in private? Because that's where hopefully most sexual stimulation takes place, right? And this is where there's gaining that interest in spades. there's not enough really time to read it all out here, but you can look it up and read it for yourself. But there's a text in there as well. There's the content of the ad, because it's written like an article, where then he would begin to stroke the desires. And I don't have the information right in front of me, but having read enough of Gary Halbert's stuff, it's something along the lines of, ancient cultures for thousands of years use this ancient product with great effect, etc., etc. And this is building, that's building this credibility, but also building the credibility. It's sort of like, to bring sexual innuendo into it once again. It's building up to this eventual climax, which is, so there's stroking that desire, but having that climax being taking some action, right? What is the action step to be taken? And that is the ultimate goal in an ad like this, but also for many things that we want to do in life, right? We want people, even if it's just, we want people to be our friend. Well, that's an action they have to take, right? Somebody to buy our stuff, somebody to hire us, whatever it is. These are actions that we want people to take. Well, if we look at the actions, reportedly anyway, of what actually took place here, is 7,000 people showed up to this launch, to this grand opening. This launch, it was I believe it was held at the Century Plaza Hotel in Beverly Hills or Hollywood or someplace. So much so that I remember Gary Halbert talking about how somebody had to call out the fire marshals and the cops and whatever to direct traffic. So, and this is all, of course, the results of that too is all kinds of free publicity. You have an event like that go on, now the press comes out and whether it's fake news or not, they're going to report on something, and thousands and thousands and thousands of more people are going to hear about it. Well, the results for Tova Borgnine is it shot within 6 months. She was selling like $800,000 worth of product. It's pretty staggering, to think about it. Think about that. But it's the power of what he's talking about here. This is basic human interaction. Now, this could be used for malice, for sure, but it could also be used to benefit us and benefit others as well. Because if we got a good message to put out there, we got to get people's attention, we got to hold their interest, we got to pique their desire, and we got to get them to take action eventually. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So what can we learn from this? Well, let's just say, if we're honest with ourselves, we're always selling something, right? We're either selling a product or service or what have you, or we're selling ourselves. Like, we want to have friends, we want to have partners, we want to have interactions with people. We want people to be able to accept our arguments and what have you. So we're always, in a way, not necessarily dollars and cents compensation, but we're always trying to present ourselves in a positive light. So if we can agree upon that, first of all, then surely we can agree to the value of this, right? That we have to get, in order for people to, in the end, take action on what we're trying to present, we have to get their attention. Right? We have to hold their interest. We have to be able to build up their desire enough in what it is that we're presenting for them to take action. Right? And action, hopefully, in the way that's beneficial to us and beneficial to them. So, what do you think? If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. And comment in the box below. Talk again soon. Bye for now.